Okay, let's take it from where we stopped in the last class. The loan repayment schedule. Now, the value here came from this cell. You can see that when you click in it, it tells you that it's coming from B9. This is B9. That's the bank loan, and we already know how we got this, how we arrived at this. Okay, now let's see the spread. This is month 0, and the plan is to repay this loan in 24 months. Good. I'll do some smart work here so that we'll move straight over to the profit and loss statement. Okay, good. Now what we have here, we brought it down to the first month. Now in the first 2 months, we are having 0 monthly principal, because at the end of the day we want to see the accrued amount like we have here, and then the monthly interest. The monthly interest is gotten by multiplying the principal like we have here by the rate divided by 12, as the case may be. Now, let's not go into so much details trying to explain all of this. Now, from what we have here, this value, for the first 2 months, no monthly principal, we have the interest calculated, and the principal plus interest, which is the accrued amount, supposed to be what we have. But for this particular first row, the first month, the accrued amount, which is the principal plus the interest, is the same as the monthly interest here. Same thing applies for the second month in our P1 column. If you remember, our P1 column, the first component. Now, if you look at the cumulative, here we are trying to get the accrued amount at the end of the day. That tells you what you are supposed to return to the bank. Good. Now, how did we arrive at the value we have here? These values. Because this tells us the interest for 2 years that you paid on this, and this is the accrued amount. So at the end of the day, this is what you return back to the bank. So coming up, by the 3rd month, we still have the same value coming down here, but something happened here, the monthly principal. How did we generate the monthly principal? We generated the monthly principal by dividing F5. Where is F5? This is F. This is, can you see that? If I click in this box, so this is my F5. F5, you can read it this way. 5, row 5, columns F5. So we were able to, let's come over, said F5 divided by 22. I will say this is what F4, this is F5, sorry, F5. Good. So when you divide this principal by 22, you get this value. Let's see for this. We have G7. Let's see for this. We have G8. Let's see for this. Now, what we have here is clear. If you count from the 3rd row, or the 3rd month, that should be a better term to use, from the 3rd month down to the 24th month, you have just 22 rows. That means when you say the principal divided by 22, that is, you are dividing this value into 22 equal parts. So that's why if you count 1 down to this, you get 22. If you sum it up, it gives you back this. So every month, the monthly principal will be this, because you're doing a spread for 24 months. That's how we came about this. So having this value here, what you just need to do is take the value here, put it here by just typing an equal sign and making reference to this very cell. It drops the same value here, the same value here, so down to the last. So that was how we came about this. Now we've talked about how we arrived at this, down to the last. Now because the interest is also going to be same at this point, can you see that we have H5 at this point? We have the formula. Since it's going to repeat, we needed not do any other thing here. That's how we arrived at this coming down to this very point. Now at this point, this is the 12th month, because we did interest rate. Can you see that? Divided by 12. Let's come to this cell. Here we have 20 multiplied by F17. Let's see F17. This is F. Let's see 17. Can you see 17? This is row 17. Go come to this place. This is F. F17. This is now the principal at this point. So we've done the first 12 months, that's by implication from what we have here, interest. So we want to take the next 12 months. So at this point, we decide to rerun what we have there. You can see 12 here. Now this is the same thing as saying 20%. 20 divided by 100, that's 20%. So 20% multiplied by the principal divided by 12. That's how we arrived at this. So this is not different from what you have here. So for what is left, the next 12 months, this is the spread. So once you get this one, we can now do a copy down to this place. I want to believe that it's not confusing. So that's how we arrived at this. Now, if this makes sense to you, then this column wouldn't be stressful to interpret, or will not confuse you as I go ahead to interpret the result. Now, for what we have here, talking about the accrued amount, this value came from H7G7. This is H. Let's look at it. Can you see that? H. Is that the 7th row? 7. Can you see? You can trace this down. H7. Good. So this one, H7 plus G7. So you take the monthly interest, that's coming from the principal, the monthly principal, and the interest. That's how we got this. That's how we got this. That is clear. Down to the bottom, until you get to the 12th month. Can you see that? Then at this point, something apply from the 13th month to the 24th month. Then taking the last column, which will give us now the accrued amount, everything put together, which is now the cumulative. Here we have this value. So it means that this value will be adding this to the second. Can you see that? J5 plus I6. This is J. This is 5. I6. Can you see that? So you add this to this to get this. The same way, just keep doing that, this to this, cumulative, until you take this to this to get this. Let's see if it's true. If I click on this, can you see that? J27, I28. Let's see, this is I28. Can you see that? This is J27, correct. Good. Now, if that is clear, this value we have here is accrued amount, which is what you have here, the summation of the values you have on the I column is what you have here. Then your H column is what you have here. Y, your G column is what you have here. I hope this is informative. I hope you learned something from this video file. In the next class, we'll be looking at profit and loss statement. Thank you.